Congressman Lamar Smith is with me. What do you think?
I thought the speech was well delivered. I liked a lot of what I heard about the emphasis on energy independence and better education and less expensive health care. But it was interesting to me because the president said he was against a bigger government, but everything he proposed leads to bigger government. He said he wanted to cut the deficit in half, but all the spending increases he's proposed is actually going to increase the deficit. So I was a little curious about the conflicts between his words and what he's actually proposed. As far as one of the issue goes, I just happen to disagree that raising taxes is going to help the economy. He said he's only raising taxes on the higher income, but the higher income includes small businesses, and small businesses create 70% of the new jobs in America, so I don't think that's the way to go. But we certainly can agree that we have a crisis that we need to address. I happen to think we ought to look more to the private sector and businesses to create jobs, not the government. And that's a philosophical difference that we'll, I'm sure, work out and try to find a compromise on.
In your district in Texas, what would you like to see? If you could wave your magic wand and get some of this money, how would you spend it in your district?
What I would do would be to spend less money but give more tax credits and cut taxes, particularly on small businesses. I would have a 20% across the board tax cut for all small businesses. Small businesses create 70% of the new jobs in America. We need to encourage small businesses to expand. That's where the jobs are, not government.
Congressman Smith, what were you doing before you became a member of Congress?
Well, before I was in Congress, I was a county commissioner in San Antonio, my home.
And have you been involved in small business?
To some extent, I've run a ranch before, and we are certainly a small business and a long-suffering small business. And I guess that, in part, gives me a little bit of a perspective. I've seen how hard people work. I've seen if small businesses are encouraged, and if they expand, they create jobs, and that's where the jobs are. I think we ought to focus on creating private sector jobs, not government jobs.
One of the things that concerned me is I understood that in broadband they were going to let the FCC study it for a year before they released any of this money. I mean,
you know, part of the problem with this huge, gargantuan $800 billion spending package is that most of the money is spent in years 2, 3, and 4. We need jobs today, this year, not when the economy has already turned around. So I'd like to see whatever stimulus money there is spent this year on creating jobs, not in future years.
One last thing, and I know you got to go see other people, but in terms of job creation, he's promising 2 to 3 million jobs.
Right.
But does that take into account all the people now that are graduating from high school and college? And where are we going to create those jobs?
The president has said he'll either save or create 3 million jobs, and I don't know where that figure comes from, and I don't know whether it takes into account the new people coming on the job market or not. And so we'll have to see. We're all in favor of new jobs. I think the new jobs ought to be in the private sector, less emphasis on government, and that's where I would look rather than increasing the size of the government.